WOCA.
Ocala.
Just about 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Nice looking Friday morning. It's time for Winging It. This is the show hosted by Josh and Brad, and they're both here from Ocala Aviation Flight School. And they're here to answer your questions about what it takes to become a pilot. Maybe you don't need a driver's license or a birth certificate to get. I don't know. We'll find out. Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Doing well. How about you?
Pretty good.
And no, you don't have to have a driver. You actually, to get a pilot's license, you have to prove citizenship either with a birth certificate or with a passport.
Can it be in like a birth certificate from the 30s?
It doesn't matter how old it is. But we do have to see that. That's one of the things since 9/11 that you actually have to prove citizenship, and if you're not a citizen, then you have to go through TSA.
So it's actually easier, paperwork-wise, to get a pilot's license than a driver's license?
Well, that's just to start training.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
Oh, I see.
Yes, because when you actually go for it and you do IACRA, which is their online, and it's...
Yeah, once you actually go to apply for the license, there's a lot more paperwork.
Okay.
It's the federal government. What do you expect?
So have you ever had somebody comes back to you and says, can you believe how ridiculous this is? Kind of like the last segment was?
Every time we do it.
Oh, really?
No.
A lot? Where do you go for it? I mean, where?
Well, like I said, what they do is when they get ready for their check ride is they do what's called a IACRA. It's a online thing where you put all their information in, and then once they go for their check ride, which we usually have at our office, they give that to the examiner. The examiner turns in all their information. It's actually a lot easier with it being online now, because before it was paper, and if they made one mistake, then it would take months longer for the student to get their license. So now, at least with it being online, if there's a mistake, we know right away. It helps.
Well, that's good.
But it can be a pain.
So they could streamline the other government things the same way.
They could. Well, the issue like what we're having now is with our foreign students, like the ones from South America, a lot of them use, like their passport will have both of their last names. They have their father's last name and their mother's last name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Officially, like a lot of them don't go by that, but that's what their documentation says.
Okay.
So when you go and put that into a computerized system, it doesn't understand that. And so we tend to have issues with that. Or it'll say that they want a zip code, and like Ecuador doesn't have zip codes and that kind of stuff. So it's some of the stuff we have to get past.
Do you have a bumper sticker on your car that says I'd rather be flying?
No.
No? Would you rather be flying?
Than sitting here?
Yeah.
No, I love sitting here with you, Larry.
It's not with me. It's with the listeners.
I think anybody would rather be flying than almost anything else. Okay, I can't say everybody. But.
I don't. Yeah, I love flying. I really do. I've not been a pilot, and I think I'd be a bad pilot. But I like, but I like flying. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah. Good morning, guys. Say the pilot's license. Now, is that like a driver's license with a picture on it and that would fit into your wallet?
Yes. Okay. Yes and no. Yes, it is like a driver's license where it's a little card, but it does not have your picture on it. It's actually got the Wright brothers' pictures on it. It's not like their picture. It's kind of like a background picture of them with Kitty Hawk, or we're not with Kitty Hawk, with the what's the plane?
Yeah.
They were in Kitty Hawk. What's the name of the plane?
The Wright Flyer.
There you go. Okay, with the Wright Flyer. I don't know. But it's just a small card. They've actually talked about eventually changing it to have your picture on it, but currently it does not. They used to have paper licenses. Now they've got the cards. I think the big thing with putting your picture on it is you're not going to an office where they can get your picture. And so it would make it a lot harder. You'd have to end up doing digital everything, which I think is just a system they're not into yet.
Well, that, and they're also... Right now, your plastic pilot license doesn't expire.
Oh, I see. How often do you have to renew that?
It does not expire.
Oh.
You never actually have to renew the license itself.
Yeah, you just have to do certain things to remain current as a pilot, but you don't actually have to renew the license and get a new plastic card unless you get a new rating or something.
Yeah.
So the problem with putting a picture on is that people age, and then they're saying, well, we'll have them renew their card every 5 years. Well, that's a whole other cost.
Okay.
If everyone's doing that every 5 years, the cost of getting your license going to go up.
Yeah.
And who's going to pay that? Is the pilot going to pay that, or is the FAA going to pay for that?
If there's a number on the license, would that be the same number that's on the aircraft?
No. No, that is just your number, because a lot of people get their license, they don't own an aircraft, and if you do, I mean, people change aircraft just like they do cars, and so it's not something you would want that on there.
What is the number on a plane? I mean, how's that determined?
A lot of them are just in order. Some people pick a number, and you can kind of like a driver's license. It just goes in order.
Just like the
or not
tag,
driver's license, tag.
the tag,
Yeah,
license
yeah.
plate on your car.
Yeah,
It's basically
or you can
the same thing.
you can pay to try and get one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And you have to renew those too often, or
Yes.
can you change them, or?
Well, you can change them, but that's a huge pain.
Oh.
Not just paperwork, but actually getting the stickers off the planes.
Okay.
So it's something you could change, but it's not really a thing you do too often.
Once you have your numbers, you keep them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye now.
What I was going to say is, do we have another call, right? Oh, we do?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, and then I'll...
Good morning. You're on the air.
Oh, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I had a question about the control tower,
Okay.
and I heard back a week or so ago that you said that the government may not fund that.
Yes.
Who paid to build that control tower?
It was from what I understand, it was a grant from the government, and then also the city pitched in. I think it was a group effort between the FAA, the government, and the city.
Okay. Suppose you had a very rich person in Ocala that wanted to fund to keep that open for a year. Could they do that, or the government says, no, you can't do that?
Well, that's actually now this is not something confirmed. This is just what I've heard, rumor types, is they're actually trying to do that. They're trying to get people to help fund it. Now, it still has to be approved through the FAA. The FAA closed down 75% of all contract towers. Contract tower is one that's, mostly funded by the city or by, special organizations. So from what I understand, it's possible. I don't know if it's going to happen. But also, I don't think people realize the cost, the upkeep of what it does take to run a tower, not just the personnel, but the equipment and everything. But like I said, I've just heard rumors they're still trying to do that. They're trying to figure out any way they can to keep this thing open.
Okay, so it's kind of hard to fight the government on just saying that, hey, we don't want it shut down.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, and we've been trying that, but as far as getting other people to pay for it, I'm sure there's logistics to that and proving that the money will continue to flow in and all that, but I'm not sure. I think that even if they got it able to happen, the tower would probably still close temporarily while they got all logistics worked out.
Yeah, okay, well, that's pretty interesting. Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Now back to what... Who was the first caller? You know, Sonny?
No.
No, that wasn't Sonny. That was
Move on.
Yeah, I can. Anyway, when he was saying that they don't expire, what happens is every 2 years you have to have a flight review, and the flight review is making sure that you yourself as a pilot is proficient and safe. But what happens is it's kind of a little confusing. But let's say you were to not fly for 5 years. It's not like your license isn't good anymore. It just means you have to go get a flight review. So they do make sure that the pilots are being safe. And one thing I can push to people or recommend to people is I have heard from some, let's just say, older pilots that have been doing it for a while that they don't like to get BFRs and they won't get BFRs and they go and fly whenever they want. And if they get caught, so be it. That's not the safest mental thought. They do BFR to keep you safe, but also people on the ground safe. So if you know people that say they don't need a BFR, they do. I'm just encouraging you to let people know that if they are not current and they're flying, they need to do it. Things change a lot with the FAA every year. Mm-hmm. And if you go up and do something, it can be detrimental to other people.
There was a story in the newspaper this week that there were some military maneuvers with helicopters out there.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, now the newspaper kind of made it out to be mysterious, and then the next day or two later they kind of said, oh, wait a minute, we all know what it is. Did you guys already know that in advance? Like, do you know?
We don't know anything about that.
Why did you roll your eyes?
Brad is being so
yeah.
Annoyed?
Yeah, why are you annoyed? Did you get a lot of phone calls?
Yes. I got screaming phone calls left on our voicemail.
Really?
About how dare we allow military helicopters to be flying over their house at 9:30 at night. I'm like, I'm a flight school. What do I have to do with military helicopters? I mean, you need to call them and you need to make them stop, and they're freaking us out. I'm like, what?
We weren't even there.
Did any of the pilots see them as well? Because I didn't see any.
We don't know what they're doing.
I heard them.
Yeah.
You did?
But it's okay. There's helicopters.
But I live near the airport, so I mean I hear airplanes all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's Yeah.
Is that where they were taking off from?
I don't know.
We don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
But
I mean,
yeah,
they were doing maneuvers. They were doing practice. It's what they do. I mean,
just because it says Ocala Aviation in the phone book or whatever does not mean that we know about all things aviation in Ocala.
or that it's our fault. Yes, because that was got me annoyed. Somebody yelling at me on the.
This happens here too, by the way. Just we were a radio station. People ask us for recipes. People will ask Robin for phone numbers. They will call up Robin, saying, "What's the phone number to?" and fill in the blank.
Oh, I get that too. Or they'll call and ask me. I don't know. That's not
Hey,
us.
what-
Well, then what's the number? I don't know. Do you have a phone book? I mean, that's.
what I get this one all the time. Are there any airlines that come into Ocala? No. All right. What number can I call to find out what airlines come into Gainesville? I'm like, someone in Gainesville, maybe.
I don't know. But yes, the helicopters, from what I have read, it was training. It's not a big deal. They're not invading. There's nothing going on. And no, it had nothing to do with us or even the airport.
Well,
we don't control any of the military stuff.
None of those were my question. My question was, did they let you guys know in advance so that you would be aware?
They
that
probably didn't think that people were going to call and yell at us.
Yeah.
They do training all the time. They do military stuff during the day at the airport all the time.
Okay.
They don't.
Well, so that's
that and out towards Lake George, they have a big, what we call a military operations area, which is a special area cordoned off for military to do their training and everything like that over the forest. So I mean,
It's not unheard of.
it's not unheard of.
Oh yeah, and we've heard stories all the time about the bombs. I mean, they can hear the bombing going on wherever they do that in the forest somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes.
So don't call us and yell at us. For one, it puts Brad in a seriously bad mood all day.
Yes.
Oh really?
Oh, yes. No, it doesn't.
You gotta let it
Yes,
roll.
he did.
Just for a little bit.
Gotta let it roll off you.
Well, we just, I mean, I've gotten phone calls from people saying that we dropped ice out of our plane, put a hole in his roof.
Wow.
Yes.
Why'd you do that?
We decided to be fun. Yeah. I'm like, well, how do you know it was a piece of ice? Well, because there's nothing there. Well, how do you know it was from one of our planes? Well, I don't. I'm just assuming. I'm like, well, I don't think we're going to... I'm like, do you realize how big of a piece of ice you'd have to drop out of our plane in order to make a hole in your roof? So, yeah.
Huh.
He let it go after that.
Yeah.
But he insisted it was us that dropped a block of ice out of our plane.
You know what's kind of scary, I guess, is that there's a new fad. People are lifting things up to the outermost part of the atmosphere and then letting them drop. They're on the YouTube thing all the time. Like an iPad, they'll drop an iPad. They dropped a Barbie doll.
That's probably just, I feel like that falls under product consumer reviews.
Oh, is that what it is?
See how well it lasts.
Yeah, I've never seen those videos. So what happened to the... Well, I mean, I know what would happen to the whatever.
They dropped the iPad and it survived. They dropped the
It
Barbie.
survived. People
Yeah.
drop an iPad out of their car or off their lap, and the
How did
screen
it have a
cracks.
parachute?
I guess it had a parachute.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So where are they dropping them?
They lift them up. You remember the guy that jumped out of the...
Yes.
Okay, that's how
That's
far
different.
they go.
Yeah, but
That took millions of dollars of stuff, and
I don't think so. No.
to do the guy,
No,
yes.
there
it did.
Okay, I don't know about the guy, but there's
He had a spacesuit on, dude. How's not
How
that?
much
not-
picked it up at
spacesuit?
Kmart?
How much does a spacesuit cost?
I don't know, but I figure it would be more than $100,000.
I think what I have seen is they're doing like balloons.
They are.
And yeah, that's all they're using. They're using balloons.
Isn't
and then
that what he
eventually they
did?
just Pop.
He did a balloon.
Yeah, but it was like a Red Bull special multi-million-dollar balloon.
That didn't
Okay.
pop before it got high enough.
But okay, now forget that guy, but there was a father and his little girl. There was a father and his little girl. What did they? They lifted up something, and then they put a GPS thing on it so they could find it after it hit the ground.
Yeah, wouldn't you worry that's going to kill somebody when it hits the ground?
I would be worried that
See,
it would,
like, we can't just throw things out of an airplane. Like, we actually have to make... I mean, you can.
Well, that's what
but
I mean.
you have to, like, make sure you're in an area, and you got to make sure the ground is safe. So how can...
That's what I mean. I mean, what if it hit a windshield of a moving vehicle?
Yeah, that's kind of...
I think I saw a video of something the same, but they put it like on the bottom of like a rocket or something, and they shot the rocket up like a little, one of those.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
anyhow, and it was pretty cool. It went really high, and
Yeah.
that kind of.
I don't know. That is kind of
floated back
interesting.
down.
I know
think
which
you
one
should
I'm
move
thinking.
it.
All right, there's one with Thomas the Engine, the train.
Okay.
They put it on like a little mouth depressor, tongue depressor, a piece of wood,
Okay.
right? And they put the camera on it, and they lifted it to the outermost part of the atmosphere until the balloon popped. You can actually see the balloon pieces when it pops, and then it starts to fall to the ground.
I saw that video. It's pretty cool.
Did that have a parachute?
No, I don't think it had a
It
parachute.
did. Yeah, because the camera wouldn't survive from that distance.
That's true. Yes,
So it had to have a parachute.
or something.
Okay, maybe it did. I don't remember.
That camera would not.
But still, I
At
think
that velocity, the camera would not survive.
But I don't know. But there's no aviation rules against that, right? Or are there?
There's aviation rules about dropping things out of airplanes.
Okay.
What Thomas the Tank Engine does, I
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel that would be better for the railroad people.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that one, honestly.
Uh,
Yes, I just don't know.
so I don't know.
Good question. Somebody look it up and let us know.
Don't drop any ice. That's for sure.
Yes, no ice.
Why would we drop ice at a...
You missed my story before.
I did. I heard your story.
But there have
my
been stories.
thoughts are, who would do that and why?
Exactly.
But there have been stories about ice falling out of airplanes.
Yes, big planes.
Big planes, yeah.
Not my little planes.
Not your guys.
There's
No.
been also stories of the waste tank falling out of airplanes too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
wanna
have
talk
those
about
in our
that.
airplanes
No.
either.
No, I don't want to talk about.
Do you ever wish you did?
Do I ever wish we did?
Yeah, do you ever wish
Absolutely.
you did?
No, I don't, because I'd be the one cleaning them. I already know that, so no, absolutely not. Right?
So do you ever
Okay.
stop? Just like you're on a flight somewhere and you just stop, you got to use the restroom, you have to find an airport?
It's happened before.
Yeah?
You kind of plan for it.
Yeah. You have to really know. Wayne, you can't be a last minute thing.
Well, it depends.
You use Depends, is that what you said?
I said it depends.
Oh, it
Not
depends.
use depends.
I don't use Depends. No. No. I was with a student yesterday actually, and we flew down to an airport
no.
near Lakeland, and
And
we
you had
ate
to go?
breakfast there.
Yeah.
Did a little bit of a ground lesson, and I had a glass of orange juice, and he had 3 cups of coffee, and I
Oh,
could see
no.
where this was going already. So I purposely, after our meal, we did some more ground.
Is he older than you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yes.
And the waitress kept going, "You want more coffee?" You're like, "No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't." And he's kind of looking at me like, I kind of do. Anyhow, we can't come back from down south, and we're probably about 30 miles away from Ocala, and he looks over at me and says, "Josh, we got to go to an airport here pretty soon."
Oh, my goodness.
So like, all right. So we actually went to Inverness and
Use the facilities.
used the facilities, and
Yeah.
then we continued.
Yes.
So yes, it does happen.
And it's just one of those, like, in a plane, you can't wait until you really have to go.
No, because then you're nervous.
Any
and you
indication
can't-
of starting, start planning on where you're going.
Yeah.
So did he recognize at that point why you didn't want him to have more coffee?
Yeah, well, he said, "I shouldn't have had all that coffee, should I?" I said, "No, you shouldn't."
Oh, and he remembered you telling the waitress no.
Well, I had told him, "You don't want to because you're going to need to go on the..." "Oh, yeah. And then every single time, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'd like some..." "No." I'm like, "No, you don't, remember?" So,
Inexperience.
hey, it's happened to me, too. The problem is when you're talking to, like, Orlando Approach or something, you're talking to Approach Control, and you change your destination, they have to have a reason why that they have to put on their document. So they'll often ask,
no.
state reason for destination change, and we have to, come up with some ingenious way of saying this over the radio.
Really? Why don't you just have like a code? Everybody knows what it
I
means.
think they should,
That would make sense.
but
Yeah.
Just have a code. Just I mean, police officers have that. They have the 10 something.
Yeah.
yeah.
10.
I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe you should ask him next time.
Just have a code. That means
That's actually that's a good idea. There should be a code.
But why would it matter if there's a code? Because if everybody knows what the code is, what's the difference between saying we
That's
got to go to the
exactly
bathroom?
right. that is true.
I mean, just curious. I
Well,
mean,
I don't know. I mean, so the average citizen wouldn't know?
the
That
average
shit isn't
citizen
listening.
listening.
Oh, really? They don't have those radios like I had when I was a kid?
they do, but most of that's not an average citizen. People that sit there and listen to it all day long
Yeah.
are avid listeners. They would,
And they would. Oh, someone hung up.
They hung
and
up.
they would know the code too, probably.
yeah, trust me, they would know.
Well-
It's funny. You'll have someone come in. Oh, I listen to you guys all the time on the radio. like not radio show, but
Not
they
this-
will tune
not
in,
this radio,
and I'm like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not really that interesting. But okay,
Sometimes it gets interesting.
it can be. Well, if you listen to some of the bigger airports, sometimes it's really funny.
Well, no, but here it gets interesting too sometimes.
But
That's
isn't there a website that actually has that? So
yes,
you,
liveatc.net.
liveatc.net?
Yep.
Oh, I should listen. I think Dan did bring it up once in the production room.
Yeah, it's nice. We'll use it for training. If a student does something, and we can go back and we can listen and say, okay, this is what you did right, or this is what
Wow.
you did wrong, and it's actually very helpful because there's some terminology that can get confusing, and so sometimes we'll get a call from a tower, hey, this person did this, and we can go back and listen and say, okay, we understand where you messed up, but this is what you need to fix.
Have you had any takers for the
No,
money
no.
scholarship?
Oh yes, no.
We had one.
Well, yeah, I had one, and the young man, he's fine, but he only can fly like once a week, so it's taking him a while.
Oh.
I've encouraged a couple other people to do it. I had 1 or 2 phone calls, but nothing so far that I know of. So I did do the new commercial, and it is wonderful new commercial, so it's real.
Why don't we play the new commercial after the show?
Well, we can't just tell them when to play our commercial.
I can look for it.
So
if I can
yes,
find
but
it.
actually with the Discovery, or not the Discovery flight, we'll talk about that too. With the scholarship, though, what he's talking about is we have a scholarship for young adults 17 to 24 up to your 25th birthday. Got to specify that. It's a scholarship for up to $4,000 to help with your private pilot's license. So it's a good way to go. It's very helpful. People need to do it, or they'll take it away.
Yeah, now
Discovery flights are good too.
Discovery flights are awesome. I love the fact that you guys do that. I know you've already addressed this, but I always feel like I'm just gonna have some fun, and you really are looking for a serious student potential, and that's never gonna be
you gotta
me.
stop doing that because see,
I know.
we have people that come in and they only do it for fun, but then they tell a family member, and then the family member comes out and does it, and they want to learn. So it's okay.
They want to do it for fun.
And we tell the listeners, and the listeners
Exactly.
hopefully
we
are.
had one guy come in, all he wanted to do was do it for fun, and then 5 of his family members ended up coming and getting their license. So it was worth it to do one for fun.
Yeah.
You know, I bet I got a nephew or two out there that wouldn't mind learning how to fly.
Exactly. And they probably could get the scholarship too.
That's the spirit.
You haven't told your nephews about the scholarship?
I don't think I have.
Are they Marion County residents?
Yeah.
But we have a host that we have. I'm just astounded.
At this time of the day, I'm a producer. You're the host.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. Oh, we got a producer. I'm a host. Did you know that we're radio hosts?
Yeah.
I just thought we were radio talkers.
On your show, I'm not a host.
Well, you're a talker, though. How are you not a host?
I'm a producer.
He's a co-host.
Well, so producers do. I know you do all the producing, but then they actually talk.
There's
and
not
do
much
questions.
production, really. It's just a title.
So the
Well, I do find it impressive,
usually
though.
producers are the ones with the money.
No, that's
No,
executive producer.
Yeah, that's exact. Producers are the one he produces the show, which is interesting because I listen to a lot of other radio shows, and you got the radio host,
Right,
and the
right.
producer's just kind of in the background.
Once in a
like,
while.
You're not in the background. You're like you're the front man. So you're like host, producer, everything guy.
That's because we bonded. This isn't true for all shows.
Oh, okay.
We should turn this camera around and face it to you.
We
no,
should.
No, we don't. You got some women out there that love you guys, so
Yes, that's called
that's
our
why it
wives.
faces you.
Yes, call our wives.
Yeah, our wives love us.
Our wives. Yeah.
Your wives. No,
I mean,
you got-
his wife and my wife. I don't have multiple.
you've
wives.
had the eye candy comment more than once on here.
No.
Yes, you have.
Well, I'm eye candy for my wife. She was hopefully, well, actually, she couldn't watch, but today she was actually trying to listen because she was.
I don't think my wife's ever listened to the show.
You interrupted me.
Maybe once or twice.
Yes. My wife is usually at work by
Uh-huh.
the time we start, but today she was allowed to go in late, so she was going to try and listen.
Mine's always at work by the time we start.
Yes.
We
My
gotta-
wife's at work by the time I get out of bed usually.
It's because you get out of bed at like 9.
No. I'm at work at 9.
So will you be flying after the show today? Are you flying today?
Yes, I am. I have a student at 10, actually.
Yes, Josh always pushes it, which is good. He's a busy man.
I'm popular.
And then do you solicit your own students? I mean, do you actually go out and look for... Oh,
Sorry.
No. I didn't mean it that way.
No, I know you didn't. I'm just thinking, no, they don't.
No.
I encourage them to. I say, carry your business cards everywhere you go. Hand out
I
business
carry
cards.
I have a whole pack of business
He
cards.
just doesn't hand them out.
No, I just refilled yesterday because I was out.
Good job.
It sounds like you're pretty busy. It sounds like you've got a lot of students.
Yeah, we've had a good stretch of busyness here where, you know, it's actually kind of hard to get on my schedule, so.
Do your students, on the day that they know... Very well done. There's a paper airplane. Do they know in advance the day that you're going to cut their shirt, and do they wear a special shirt just for that?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do, and then they forget, and they bring a nice shirt, and then a nice shirt gets cut up.
You just cut it?
Yep. And then sometimes the problem is if you tell them and they freak out and they don't sleep the night before.
Yeah, and then the chance of them soloing is not very high.
So a lot of times it'll be, hey, I'm getting out of the plane, you're going to go solo. Which is good. They do have warning. So a lot of times when it starts coming up like the week or two before, you notice their dress, the way they dress kind of changes.
They start dressing really ratty like.
Or they start wearing undershirts all the time, that kind of stuff.
You know, there's some people who just love to put things in frames and shadow boxes, and they're really good at that.
Yes.
Do you have anybody who's done that with one of their shirts?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And we have people that, we had one guy
Really,
that...
I should have my solo shirt framed.
There you go.
I would say that's.
We have
kind
a lot of
trophy.
people that we had one guy. He's like, well, I want the solo shirt to hang. I'm like, well, why don't you do this? We'll cut the back. We'll keep that. We'll cut the front for you. Doesn't look any different anyway. Then you could shadow box the front, and we'll keep the back. And they liked that. They thought that was a good idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because usually we hang up all the solo shirts in our hall of many solos.
Yes, we actually have a hall of solos. It's kind of neat.
You do really?
Yeah, it's a hallway with a bunch of solo shirts stapled to the walls.
Yeah.
Where is it? I've been in there, but I don't remember seeing that.
I don't think you walk through the back office.
Oh, okay.
It's in our back office where we do all of our training and everything, and it's a really encouragement for people that you walk through, and whenever you solo, we let you pick the spot that you're going to hang in.
The walls are slowly getting closer together though because of all the layers of solo shirts. So
they are seriously.
All right, well, fun show as always. What's your phone number?
I'm not going to tell you my phone number.
All right, you don't have to. It's up to you.
352-861-7484.
Okay. Call us if you need that repeated. And I will play that commercial where you're talking about the scholarship so people can write it down if they need that information. We'll do it right after this beautiful music is over.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
That was great.
that was a good airplane.
That sounded just like...
In my headset, it sounded really good.
I'm sure it did. Hi, this is Brad, one of the hosts of Winging It here on WOCA every Friday at 9 a.m. I want to take a moment to talk about a serious issue regarding aviation. In the next 5 years, the aviation industry is projected to have a shortage of commercial pilots, in part due to the lack of new pilots starting their flight training now. A pilot needs 2 to 3 years to get through their training and to build up enough flight time to be able to be hired. Now is the time to start training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a private pilot's license. This license will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. Now, of course, the student does not have to have aspirations of becoming a commercial pilot. If they simply have a desire to obtain their private pilot's license so they may enjoy the adventures of flying, they may also apply for the scholarship. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact me, Brad, or Ron at Ocala Aviation Services. 861-7484. That's 861-7484.
Alice.
Yes, George.
Did you know I'm a truck driver now?
What?
I called Devon Self Storage at 873-077.